Welcome to an unboxing here on Linus Tech Tips. I actually have one of the applicants for my new assistant position holding the camera for me today, and we are going to be unboxing his pick of all the things that are in the room right now to unbox, and that is the NZXT Havik 140. This is a new cooler from NZXT. Now their claim is it actually performs as well as the Noctua NHD14, but looks cooler in their opinion. Although I do have to say that with those blades on the fan and that finish on the heatsink itself, it does look pretty darn cool. Let's see what they have to say for themselves. We've got compatibility for socket 1155, 1156, and 775, as well as AM3, AM2+, AM2, and remember, that also means it's compatible with AM3+, because it will use the same mounting system. Specially designed rubber fasteners to reduce vibration and secure fans to heatsink. Alright, unique fan blades provide quiet, 25 decibel operation, highly effective airflow. Very nice, okay. 6mm heat pipes with standard dual 140mm fans for most efficient conductivity, sturdy mounting bracket, newly patented fins, exceptionally slice, passing air for increased ventilation. Now I thought these were just to look cool, but I guess there's only one way to know for sure. 100% soldered copper base and aluminum fins with nickel plating to ensure resilience against deterioration, quality, and long life. I hope that it doesn't have resilience against long life, and I really hope that they were actually talking about just the resilience against the deterioration and other things that were mentioned there. So let's go ahead and break the seal, because that's what we do on this channel. And how do I open the box? I don't know. From the bottom. Oh, there's another seal. All right. We get to break the seal twice on this product. Exciting. So let's see what NZXT has inside. So the first thing we find is a manual. It's not in color, although I'm not really sure that color manuals are a necessary expense for coolers, especially when you have a nice blown up diagram like this that shows you where all the parts are going to go in order to install it on the Intel or AMD system. Okay, on this side we've got our step-by-step, although, I mean, just for quickness sake, you're probably going to want to use... Oh no, these are just parts lists. I thought... Are these in order? I can't tell. Let me see. Yeah, those look like they're in order of how it's held down. So at the end, it's held down by a spring-mounted bit, and then it's just a matter of which mounting hardware you're putting over the socket of your motherboard. So first thing we find is a fan packed in very nice closed-cell foam, so there's definitely no risk of damage to that fan. It's got a very short connector on it, and it's got black sleeving as well as a black connector, so it should match your hardware fairly well. These are 140mm fans, but they use that cool circular frame design, which allows them to mount on 120mm mounts compared to a square frame, which would put those mounting holes a little bit further out. Alright, we've got another fan. Much like the last one, except more different. Alright, we have some Do Not Eat desiccant silica gel. Alright, don't eat that please. And then we have, oh okay, hold on. Let's have a look at the mounting hardware first, and then we'll do the CPU cooler itself. So, in terms of accessories, we've got a bunch of stuff here. So we've got what looks like, look at how thick that backplate is. Here, let's take that out. Alright then, what are these? These are rubber fasteners. Huh. Cool. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So these rubber fasteners are what allow us to mount the fans to the cooler. Alright, we've got some various backplates and hold down mechanisms. These are very, very thick. Check this out. If you manage to warp a motherboard with one of these installed on it, then you're probably doing it wrong. This is the side for AMD. Look how thick that thing is. Here, we'll do the iPhone thickness comparison that you guys all love so much. There you go. So it's about the thickness of the glass on an iPhone. Alright, so you got some plastic bits here just to make sure that it doesn't short out on your motherboard. Okay, we've got some additional hold down pieces, all made out of nice thick steel, so you're not going to have any difficulty with those bending or coming loose in shipping. That can be a big concern with these heavy heat sinks, because especially for NCIX, I mean, when we're shipping systems across the country, it can be problematic if the system heatsink comes loose in transit and bangs around inside, which has happened, believe me, and it's very, very, very bad. Alright, there we go. Let's take out the heatsink itself and have a look. Lots and lots of heat pipes in this thing. This actually reminds me of the Thermalright Ultra 120 Extreme a little bit. although more heat pipes for sure than the Ultra 120 Extreme had. So there's actually 6 heat pipes, which are all bent in a U configuration. It's got kind of a matte silver finish, and then you can see that it's actually a fairly loose, thin array. So my expectation is that this cooler is going to perform best with low RPM fans, which is indeed what NZXT has supplied with it. So let's have a look at how they've laid out the heat pipes here. So you can see we have the 6 coming through on each side, and then they either bend in like this, or they bend not quite as much, or they come out to the edge of the cooler. Now, one good thing about a cooler like this versus something like a D14, regardless of performance, because we haven't had a look at performance yet, is that it is going to be more compatible with a wider variety of motherboards compared to a monstrosity like the D14, which is basically like 2 of these side by side, where you can put a fan in the middle and a fan on either side. So it's got some heft to it, but again, with this mounting mechanism, I really wouldn't expect to run into any trouble with it putting too much strain on your motherboard. We can do the obligatory finger shot here, so you can see it's got some shininess to it, although there is some definite grain to the finish on the bottom, although that does not necessarily impact performance in any way. Now, in terms of mounting these fans, you notice that they had very, very short connectors on them. So I just want to show you guys why that is. It's because we actually have an included splitter. So you just go ahead, hook both fans up to the splitter that came with it. So you can put those on either side. There we go. Whoops. Okay, well, it'll go kind of something like that. You hook up the splitter, and then you hook the whole thing up to your motherboard. So this is what it'll look like once you've got the fans on it. It's about this big. And we can do another iPhone shot, just so that you guys can see the overall size of the unit itself in comparison to an iPhone. And I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say about the Havik 140. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips, and thank you for checking out my unboxing and first look at this new heatsink, which is actually the first heatsink for NZXT. So here's actually how these rubber mounting mechanisms work. You take them and you screw them into the, or not screw them, you put them into the fan like this, and then you take these rubber bits here and then you pull them around the edge of where you would normally have like a mounting bar, which is what we see on something like a Thermalright cooler. Now they are a little bit tricky to get in there, and I wouldn't mind if NZXT also included a mounting bar to go along with the rubber pieces, but basically you put them behind there on both sides. You have to kind of, you know, I guess if we took like a screw or something and sort of push that in there, then we might have a little bit better luck. The good news is you only have to do this once, I guess. There we go. So you put it under there, and then that is what holds the fan on. So you take 4 of those, and then you can actually see that there's going to be a significant buffer between the fan and the heatsink itself, which acts to help reduce the dead zone, which is the area in the middle of the fan where there's obviously no airflow, as well as reducing the vibration that can be transferred from the fan to the heatsink to the motherboard to your case.